Pretty sure it's hearing today.
Should be it. All right. Okay, bye.
This is my compromise.
Why don't you try to find it at auction or try to find it on sale? Like some guy who like wants motors fucked up just wants to get rid of it, like yours. You need to get it new.
No, it's fancy thousand.
It still costs that much. Dude, this thing, what is this, like a fucking cruise ship?
Hey, Mr. Christine. I know, Mike. I've got a lane up. That's Weinstein
I understand why it's been so much on the boat.
You don't comment in the shot's not that bad.
yeah.
Cookie control.
A good day once somebody comes in.
That's it.
So I'll do something to try to make that happen.
Yeah, this
There's
one
Felt like the
There's one that's
sturdier
170.
ones. There are other ones that
97.
Yeah.
are not so good.
I think the Franco is classic.
Yeah.
You can get.
I mean,
they
if you-
come in different
different
sizes.
colors. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like the size, I could get one that was my.
Yeah, I got a big ass head.
Yeah, this is like a.
It looks,
Yeah,
I don't
can't
know.
use it
I
for
don't know.
relief, I don't know.
It looks nice to me, but I can't tell the difference. It's just big. You're saying. I mean,
It's big.
I'm running out of bonds now.
These are both called a pilot house.
where you steer from up top.
That's where you steer from down below.
Oh, no. So what that one's
You can steer up high. That's the fly bridge. But up here you don't drive.
Sounds good. This is what I did when I was a kid. My mom kind of
Where did you park to?
back at home.
So
So this is what I did.
I'm parked across the way.
I used to help her on my vacation.
How's she doing? Lots of seating
She's in
inside,
good.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy, man. I was scared like 4:30 a.m.
Yeah,
No spots. No spots.
Like,
Nothing.
like she's bigger than mission, I guess, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and way bigger than my apartment. So it was like 4 times bigger than my apartment.
How's
This is
that
the pilot
possible?
house.
We have the best
So that's up top. Little table.
That's like outside.
Well, it
No,
takes
it's
Close to the elements.
This is
it takes
inside.
a guy with like a laparoscopic tool and just chop it off whenever you need it.
Right.
And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But you go
we're lucky because we do have
you go
good
down
place
3 stairs
back at
to
home.
the kitchen.
They did not give you our
Go up 3
170.
stairs.
All right, sounds
The,
good.
our
This is the
insurance
pilot house.
is generated
That's where you
from a
drive.
co-op
No, this is where you
of
drive
healthcare
from.
providers
And you eat dinner and you sit up
made
here.
by healthcare providers
Two
to
cabins.
cover
Two
healthcare
bedrooms.
providers. And now there's a bank and a full-on association. But so we've been there like all our lives. And that's great. She needed a hospital room
That's
and
like
they
in the
got
front
it.
of the club,
That's the front.
Yeah. Oncologist and then there was one and then there was a surgeon and the
Hey,
guy came up and was like,
obviously,
wow. So
make things
took a
even
picture of the thing
more
I took out.
They
He
got
showed me, he's like, this is not I'm like,
No.
wow.
The cheapest one.
It was like a monster, like
Alright.
this is calling like this long.
So just want to make
With
sure
a
you know
balloon
it's right across
at
the
the end.
street.
Yep. I won't go crazy, but I'll make my way over there. Bless you. Whoa.
Oh, I bought some. She bought like a whole trench sweater hat.
Right. I think this is gonna be the pivot move. It's like this. Maybe everyone's
does stop people from walking on the sidewalk.
No.
There's somebody? There's nobody, right?
Be careful on your elbows and whatnot, because the further you go out, then the rest of we all gotta go out.
Big time, buddy.
Maybe in a wheelchair and comes out right there. You know, give me like 15 seconds of broadcasting delight.
Is that on your business card? I provide broadcasting delight.
I haven't had coffee yet or food. So, yeah. It is, but you know, it's all good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was, once we were sending me pictures of cameras and stuff, I don't need to see. Was he turning on that picture? She's down on one side. She's down on one side. Yeah.
Really.
good balance.
Good.
He's amazing. I see why you married him.
Yeah. It's just the same as everything else, you know? I wanted to output a single, to dumb it down. I could do it on my phone. Like in certain situations, it would be great. Yeah, I could. I've done it before. Yeah,
You got Cersei. You have Cersei. So you know he's gonna bring a crank bar. Oh, he's going to? Cersei and Williams. How prejudice is that?
It's up on the net now. Something like that,
That's right, I saw that. I got it. I just saw it. That's awesome. Oh, yeah.
bless you. Arquette though? Is that there? Yeah. What are you shooting for us? Did you get a picture of Arquette already? The girl in the red, did you get a picture of her? Please get a picture of her? Because they're asking me to take a picture of her because... Come on, please. Can you take a picture of her? Yeah, any picture of her. Okay.
Hi, I'm Paula. I don't even know you for another video. Hi. Yes. Hi. So nice to meet you.
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling it. Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
Oh no.
I know, I'm here. This is Alex, the lawyer.
Real?
No, well, that's up to them.
Rosanna.
You going in? Hi.
No, we're getting ready. Just want like another 30 minutes. Excuse me? Rosanna.
A little scared that the shot's actually going to be him walking by those signs down there. That
Oh, man.
Yeah. Behind the right pillar.
Yeah, but
You
see there? Yeah, but you took my little hole that I was going to. No, you're good. You're good. We'll make it work.
Why are they leaning?
I just don't get them coming out of the car.
Come on out!
Officer!
Sir.
Clear, please.
out sooner.
Okay.
And then we're at the meeting.
Okay. Legal, right?
I think so.
He's coming up. Heads up. He's coming up.
What's going on there? The person?
The girls. Okay. The women.
Oh, hey, what's
women
up?
victims. I saw.
We have someone.
So
there, right?
I'm here at the entrance. So I'll just stay here, right? Okay. She's at the corridor right now. Yeah, he just walked in. So I just stay here, right? Okay. 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 Goodbye.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, brother?
Thanks for all the prep.
Everything was cool?
Yeah, I had to get out of the tripod because everybody leaned in. So. Yeah. Hey, how are you?
Hey, coming up on rep, this year or 11. Rep 31. Harvey Weinstein in court. Rep 31.
What do you got? Weinstein?
Yes, Weinstein.
Coming to court?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, man. You can go.
All right,
Lay down.
Got it. Okay.
All right, wait.
Who's gonna pull up the TV? That's what I'm saying. Who's gonna pull up the TV, right?
yours. Yes. You want to have this one? Yeah. And then it's halfway, you got to backtrack and come back and say, where the hell did I drop that damn thing? And if you don't pick it up, because I'm the staff, destroy that, you know, then you have to shoot the rest of the day.
I'm telling you. And this rough thing against your eye. Yeah, it's not good.
Let it get to you. Sometimes I'm there and I have to stay. Yeah, I just
One thing, the equipment is not gonna overheat. It's getting colder, man.
Yeah, no, the temperature. This is usually the time of the morning.
This has got to go. Get it out.
We're short, so, you know.
Well, you're just not going to have to put it there. You're just going to have to get that away.
And Mike.
All right.
Tony, all right, you
So what's going on, Kendra?
You guys tell us when you're ready, and we will start again. She will start over.
Just wear some leg from this.
Everybody good?
Where's Ellen?
Are we good? Great. Start over.
Hold on, wait for the card. Take two. As one of the silence breakers, I stand in solidarity with the brave survivors who... Mike, what is happening? This is so crazy. I know.
Keep going. It's okay. I know. Keep going.
I guess there's fights going on.
Keep going.
What?
Respect for the survivors, please.
Clearly there aren't. There isn't it at this point. As one of the silence breakers, I stand in solidarity with the brave survivors who will take the stand against Harvey Weinstein in this trial. While the emotion of the day runs high, I join these other brave women who were also harmed by Harvey Weinstein to say, we aren't going anywhere. As we stand here at the beginning of a new year and a new decade, time's up. Time's up on sexual harassment in all workplaces. Time's up on blaming survivors. Time's up on empty apologies without consequences. And time's up on the pervasive culture of silence that has enabled abusers like Weinstein. These abusers that make it unsafe for women to go to work every morning, to take a business meeting or event, to report a crime without retaliation. We are here to ensure that the focus of this criminal case is on the perpetrator's actions, not his victims, and that justice is served. The truth will prevail. And whether it is this trial or in the future, Harvey will be held accountable for his actions.
Thank you for being here. Dear Harvey, no matter what lies you tell yourself, you did this. Today, Lady Justice is staring down a super predator. You brought this upon yourself by hurting so many. You have only yourself to blame. I came here today to see this through. I came here today to stand side by side with these other women who you also harmed, and to be a voice for the voiceless, like I was for so long. You thought you could terrorize me and others into silence. You were wrong. We rose from your ashes. We rise together. That we've come to this moment of justice is staggering. The trial means so much to so many, but it will mean the most to the brave women testifying and to all of us silence breakers. I thank those testifying for standing, not just for themselves, but for all of us who will never have even one day in court. Today is a day for us to honor how far we've come and how much we've endured to get here. But it is not the end. Know this, we are free, we are beautiful, we are strong, and you will never take that from us. Most importantly, Know that the silence breakers will never give up. Survivors will never give up. Thank you. As silence breakers, we've risked everything to see our abuser, Harvey Weinstein, brought to justice. In my personal experience, the abuse and my choice to speak publicly about it have damaged my health and my career. As a group, we have been threatened, bullied, intimidated, and retaliated against. Harvey implemented these scare tactics to silence the many voices who for years were not able to speak. We will not be silenced anymore. We represent thousands of people from all walks of life who have courageously come forward to share stories of sexual violence and have taken a stand despite the danger of retribution. This trial is a cultural reckoning regardless of its legal outcome. It is a victory to see Harvey Weinstein and the systems that have protected him for decades held accountable. But this will not end with Harvey. By coming forward with our own stories, we are working to create a culture where survivors can come forward without fear of retribution and retaliation, and where shame and silence are no longer the norm. We are proud of the progress we have made so far. The world is watching. This trial shows that abusers will be held accountable despite their attempts to keep the abuse behind closed doors. It is now the job of the judge and jury to make the right decision and put this dangerous man behind bars where he can live out the rest of his days paying for his crimes. But regardless of the outcome, we will keep fighting to create a world where it is no longer dangerous to speak up, a world that believes survivors, holds abusers accountable, and where respect and safety are the rule and not the exception. Thank you.
Lauren, you want to go?
My name is Lauren Sivan. I've worked 20 years trying to make a name for myself as a journalist, like many of you, but nowadays most people know me as the potted plant girl because of my accidental encounter with Harvey Weinstein 12 years ago. It's kind of awful to be known for something terrible that happened to you because you were accidentally sat next to a predator at a dinner party. But now Harvey is worried that we won't remember him for all the work he's done for women. But he's wrong. We will definitely remember him. He put Me Too on the map, a movement that has taken over the country and the world. He has changed sexual harassment policies in workplaces across the nation, even in our own government. He has made it more effective and safe for people to report sexual abuse. Because of him, I've gotten to meet some of the most fearless, brave women in my entire life. They're not staying quiet. And because of their bravery, because they came over and risked everything to speak out against what Harvey did to them, the world has changed. So I'm okay with being known as the potted plant girl, as long as he's forever known as the predator rapist that he is. Before I go, I know there's a lot of media attention about this story, and I saw his lawyer, Donna Roteno, on the news saying, just because one woman said it happened doesn't mean it's true. Well, Donna, what about 100 women who say it happened? I'm not a lawyer, but where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
Hi, I'm Paula Williams, and first of all, I just would like to thank every one of you for being here today and hearing us and seeing us. It's been a long time, 20 years, 30 years for myself, that we've been quiet, been kept quiet, and it's really nice to have the opportunity now to say some words. This is beyond retribution, I think, for us. This is about cultural change, and it's something that I hope the next generation doesn't have to deal with. And if they do have to deal with it, I hope they'll at least speak up about it and feel comfortable. That's what I hope from, today forward. And I think just having you here, listening to us, really helps with the change. So thank you all.
Hi, thank you all for being here. I'm Dominique Huet, and I just want to say my experience with Harvey Weinstein started with unwanted sexual advances and ended with sexual assault. This predatory behavior went on for years behind the scenes, unchecked. Today we stand together to hold a serial rapist accountable. This is a cultural reckoning to no longer create a culture that shames victims but puts the blame on who it belongs, the perpetrators. Thank you.
One more, and then we're going to open it up for questions.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, New York. My name is Louise Godbold, and you're probably saying, who? Because I'm just a little person. I am not a famous actress. I never had a fantastic career in the entertainment industry. Thank you, Harvey Weinstein. But today, I think, is a triumph for the little people. Because there are so many people who think that their power and their influence will protect them, and that we can do nothing about it. And I'm so fed up of not being able to defend myself physically, my rights, my dignity. So the fact that Harvey Weinstein is in court today, to me, is a great triumph. It's a great triumph for all of our sisters, all of our silence breaker sisters, those here and those who have chosen to remain anonymous. And it's a victory for you. It's a victory for every person who doesn't have that kind of wealth and influence, because it's sending a message that there is going to be a reckoning. Thank you.
We're going to try and do this in a neat and orderly fashion. People can raise their hands, great. I understand that might not work. We also have a legal expert here, Alex Conlon, somewhere. If you guys have any legal questions, she's a former public defender. She's happy to answer some of the legal questions that some of these ladies might not be able to answer. So with that, we're going to open it up as best as we can for a neat and orderly Q&A session.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the women? Nobody?
I have a question for you.
Great.
I don't know who wants to answer. Today it's Harvey Weinstein trial, but would you say that the things have changed in the American society? It's not only Weinstein. I mean, every woman are concerned about what happens. What happened in the last 2 years, and did you see some changes? I don't know who wants to answer.
You're asking me? Are we seeing changes? Yes. Everywhere.
Yeah.
All around the world.
New laws are being passed all the time. In California, a whole slate of Me Too laws got passed in 2019. Currently, I'm working with Brad Hoylman in New York to pass the Adult Survivors Act, which would open up a window for adult survivors to be able to report and go to court. So things are changing.
Excuse me, I have a question. It must be incredibly hard for all of you to be here. And can you speak up? It must be incredibly hard for all of you to be here and to speak your truth publicly. How do you get up the courage? How do you find it inside yourself to go public with this?
Rose would have to answer that one.
I found the courage to go public because and all of my silence breakers, my fellow silence breakers, and any woman or hurt survivor, man or woman in this world, the courage inside is that little light that he couldn't kill, and it grew and it grew, and my rage grew. And with that, justice, because that's the flip side. I've expelled most of my rage, which is great. Today, I can smile, today I can be free, but how we get the courage is because living in silence is a death sentence to your soul. Because when you get killed by being raped, you carry around that dead person inside of you until you can find a way to birth it. And for me, birthing that was through using my voice. And I imagine that is what happened to so many of us who raise our voices in this society.
What sort of an impact do you think Harvey Weinstein, what sort of an impact will that have on the survivors, and what sort of a message would that send to the rest of the world watching this case so closely?
If he gets found guilty? If he's acquitted. Well, that will be an awesome day. Just kidding.
I think he just quickly he just recently said in the press he hopes to rebuild his career in Hollywood when this is all over.
Yes.
Does anyone really want to see that? I mean, it's like a pedophile saying, "I can't wait to go back to coaching Little League as soon as this is all over." You know, this is a dangerous predator. Even if he is acquitted on this trial, let's hope that he's never able to go back to doing what he was doing.
And if he's acquitted, it'll prove what a lot of us already know, that the criminal justice system is not currently set up to protect survivors. And all of us have been working really hard to make those changes. So Harvey is powerful, Harvey is rich, Harvey has used his influence his entire life to get away with horrible crimes. We cannot let that happen now. And if this court acquits him, hopefully other courts will come after him, and no one standing here will allow him to continue to have a career and have access to women to continue assaulting them.
As you saw Harvey Weinstein walk into that courthouse today, what were your thoughts and what were your emotions?
He looked like a very broken man.
I think he's taken some good acting tips. He's had a lot of teachers.
And he seemed cowardly. He wouldn't look at us. He wouldn't make eye contact. Nothing has changed. He's a coward.
We weren't screaming. We just wanted to face him, but he didn't. He avoided us. And the thing is that, unfortunately, there's so many people that feel sorry for the rapist, especially in Hollywood. So there's a lot of people feel sorry for him, and maybe they are planning for him to come back, and if that happens, wow.
Yes, please, up there.
Hi. When he says stuff like, work, smoking has been longer, how does that make you feel?
You answer. Enraged.
What a moron. I mean, that's what I thought, you know. I mean, you asked me honestly what I thought, and I think it's despicable. I think it's disgusting. I think it's rewriting history, because for every woman he put on the screen, he took out about 100 behind the scenes. Not at all.
No.
He doesn't realize what he's done at all, and I don't think he ever will. He has something sick in his head, like many serial rapists. I question his accomplices, and if he gets acquitted, his accomplices in the future will know no rest, because we will come for them.
So I have a question that I will now address to Rose, because she just brought it up. Say Harvey is brought to some kind of justice. We know that Harvey Weinstein did not do this alone. How are we sure that it's over, at least this part of it, if Harvey goes to jail? All those protectors, all those enablers, what will stop them?
I hope that what will stop them is the acknowledgement that they have an asterisk next to their name for all time for what they've done. And many of us know who they are, and many of you do not. But we know them. And we will out them if we have to, if they come forward to help him again. I think if he gets convicted, people will abandon him finally. I pray.
Are you wearing red for a particular reason?
Oh.
It's a coincidence.
Coincidence.
No, I wear it.
That's why
I wear it for a reason. It's powerful. It's a powerful color, and we're taking the red back.
This is us taking our power back.
Good question, though. I think this trial will change for what it means. The eyes of the world are on this trial, you know, and women's hopes and dreams of every time they've been assaulted and hurt and never had their voices heard or never had their day in court, because 98% of rape trials do not end with a conviction for the predator. But I think we've already made so much change. You know, I know these women have, and I've given my all to this cause. And what I've seen worldwide as I've traveled in these last 2 years is nothing short of miraculous. And yes, it might be only 1 in 1,000, but that's a lot more than there was before. Well,
yes,
yes,
I hope so.
Should.
It should be.
I mean, we make up a lot of the voting bloc, so one would think so, but
it would be nice if some of the debates started asking questions about it.
It would be great.
This feels much bigger than the trial of just one man.
Yes.
I wonder whether you could give us a sense of its broader significance.
I mean, I hope it changes more for men. When you ask what's it going to change for women, we would like to see more change on the men's side. We would like men in power to know that they can't abuse their power, pay off their victims, and go about their business. That hopefully will not stand anymore.
We need the good men that there are
Yeah.
to come and be our allies. And there are a lot of good men. It's not taking down the men.
Do you regret that the 1,900 of victims, only 2 of them are really good? Is it something that you regret, or is it at least that's something, that's a start?
It's more than most get. It's a product of his intimidation tactics. He's silenced so many women. I mean, look,
did you see the thugs that were surrounding him when he walked in? I mean, it was like a Scorsese film.
It was like he gets the protection. You know, his victims didn't.
No.
And it's also a reflection of the statute of limitations, which silence people and make it impossible for them to seek criminal justice. Because, as Lou can probably speak to, trauma prevents you from speaking up until you process it, until you know you have an ability and a right to go to the police and go to the courts and try to seek justice. So statutes of limitations need to be addressed so more of us can have a voice and have an opportunity to bring our abusers to justice.
And do you think you will escape his fate, because with only 2 cases, it's less chances that have 80 or 100, or is it the top?
It's the best we got. And I send all of my strength, and I know we all do, to those women that are going to have to be dragged through the mud for nothing else than being hurt, and for nothing else than maybe being traumatized survivors who acted to what other people would think is strange in the aftermath. But trauma, you kind of want things to go back to normal. You want to pretend it didn't happen. So whatever you hear about those women in there, know that there are 98 more and probably 1,000 more out there that are just like them. And so they're standing for us. And I'm immensely proud of them. And all 3 women, and Annabella Sciorra going on too. This is a huge, huge moment. And we didn't have our day, but hopefully they will. And we join hands with them. And their victory would be our victory. Their loss will be our loss.
All right, I think unless anybody has anything else, we're probably good. Perfect.
I'm hoping that they'll bring in an expert who is trauma informed and can speak to the reality of what happens to survivors post-trauma. It's incredibly common to stay in touch with your abusers if you knew them prior to the abuse. Sometimes it's necessity, you work with them or you're related to them. Sometimes it's to reclaim a normal feeling and to reclaim your power. There is nothing abnormal about remaining in contact with your abuser. Also, even in quote-unquote consensual relationships, abuse and assault and rape can happen. So you could be in a 10-year relationship with someone and still be raped by them. All of these arguments are based on nothing and they're just trying to drag these women through the mud. So hopefully the jury and the judge will be informed enough to know not to listen to those ridiculous defenses.
While this is going on, I'd like to know, I'm sure you've all noticed in the last week there have been endless Harvey stories, and now we have a man, Terry Gilliam, who, for no reason at all, is just trashing women, the teacher movement, any woman who claims to be a survivor. We've also seen a couple of bad men get big promotions in the last month or so. So my question goes, how much did it get?
One step forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah.
One big step forward.
All right, thank you guys all for
Thank
coming
you.
today. If you guys want updates on the trial or anything along those lines, please tune in to Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. You can get updates along the way. Some of these women are going to be available for individual interviews if they want to be. If you could just give them a minute to get out and just give them a minute of space, we'd really appreciate it. And again, Time's Up Legal Defense Fund, Time's Up if you guys want additional information. Yeah, we'll get you all of those. Hey guys, let's get her. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.
Sarah, S-A-R-A-H. Ann, A-N-N. Masse, M-A-S-S-E.
S-S-E.
Yes, thank you.
Can we know the name?
Yeah, so she's Sarah Masse.
Sarah,
M-A-S-S-E.
Sarah? Who is Sarah?
Sarah, M-A-S-S-E.
Who is Sarah?
She's one of the survivors. You talk to her. I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Yes, Sarah, S-A. Yeah, you want me to write it down?